authority to issue a warrant.
No, they have no real authority. They have only falsely assumed authority under the fraudulent pyramid scheme, which is controlled by the international banking cartel. That's not we the people. That's not the living law of this real land. And we need to come together and learn the real law, because real law is about protecting people and protecting children and protecting our freedom and protecting the peace. It's not about attacking people in their homes with militarised police. They had machine guns pointed at my husband, my unarmed husband.
They won't need to if you come willingly.
I'm not going willingly with criminals. I do not trust them. They are abusers. SAPOL are hired guns, contractors that work for this corporate fraud. It's for-profit human trafficking. And they conspire with the DCP to steal children. They're professional child abduction teams.
And they work for banks. They kick people out of homes.
It's not for people, and it's not for child protection.
So, Solange, you can sort of expect, I guess you can expect the police to turn up on your doorstep at any time now.
Well, you would know. You're obviously here before them, so you know more than us.
No, well, I was in court, so I heard.
Yeah, you know more than us then. So you're telling the story.
Well, I won't go near them because I don't trust them. Because that was my mistake the first time. I left this boundary, you know, the sacred protection of this is a spiritual sanctuary that has been claimed under divine and natural law, you know, with full respect for the sovereign First Nations and for our divine creator. And I left and I walked down to the end of this road where the police were, and I had my little People's Peace Alliance sign, and I said to Officer Kevin, do you stand with the pedos or with the people? And he ignored me like I didn't even speak. And I asked him again, do you stand with the pedos or with the people? And then he spoke into his little walkie-talkie and said, stand by, stand by. And then I asked him one more time, do you stand with the pedos or with the people? And then he said, stand by, and the two police women across the road rushed over and grabbed me with force and dragged me across the road, and then threw me against the car, and then, you know, searched me, groped me, and then dragged me unwillingly. I didn't want to go with police. I don't trust police. I do not feel safe in their custody at all. And then, yeah, pushed me into the back of the van and abducted me.
For no crime.
I didn't hurt anyone.
For no crime that you've done.
I've actually worked really hard in unpaid service of our community for years trying to get honest information out. And I tried at first to go through all of the, you know, authorities, the proper channels of the MPs and, you know, all of those things to find remedy. And it all just fell on deaf ears. And I couldn't work out why until I started to understand the truth about the difference between the fraudulent corporate law, which has no place here in the sovereign First Nations.
So what will happen if the police turn up today?
Well, I won't be dealing with them. We've got no contract. They kept me hostage and forced me to sign that bail agreement under threat of being held indefinitely. So it was blackmail. It was torture, it was blackmail. And there's another woman, Kate Rayleigh, who's being held in isolation. It was more than 100 days when I got out, and she is being tortured mercilessly. And I've again written to the authorities to make them aware of Kate, but she doesn't have anyone on the outside. Like, I had family and community that knew I was there. She doesn't have anyone, and they're merciless. They're cruel.
So then you've got serious aggravated assault charges against you. How do you?
Based on what? Where's the evidence?
Until you go to court.
No,
that's where
they can publish that evidence. They have my permission.
Because it's before a court.
Well, it's a fraud court.
You can have your say in court if you.
They can come to the Bora court.
You can have your say in
court. No,
they
can come to a court of people that I trust, the people that I know are honest.
That's not a recognised court.
Recognised by who?
Well, the law of the land.
Oh no, that's incorrect.
Their court is not recognised by the law of the land, mate.
The law of the Australian Constitution. So
that has no legitimacy here, because the sovereign First Nations never ceded their sovereignty. So
That's right.
The Constitution and the Commonwealth never had.
Where is this going to end? How do you see this ending?
Well, hopefully people will wake up and
in peace. That's what we want. The People's Peace Alliance. So that's us coming together with our elders, original elders and lawmen and lawwomen, to actually sit down, we the people, and make a plan, a peaceful plan for ourselves for how do we actually turn this all around and end all these crimes against our community, end the COVID fraud, end the 233 years of genocidal occupation, end the child trafficking, end the human trafficking, you know, actually make things good for human beings.
Sounds nice.
Please may I have a copy as well? Thank you.
Thank you guys. Please get the truth out as much as you can, because their plans for what they're going to do is just to escalate all of this controlling evil. And they've written Emergency Powers Act to give themselves, sorry my mouth's dry, powers to be able to remove children under this COVID fraud and take them away to COVID isolation facilities. And when I was in there, I was kept in isolation for the whole time. So it was 22 days, 21 nights of isolation, and cut off from communication with my family. And it's torture. And they can do that to the children under this act. So they can just bring police and, you know, whoever they decide is the proper authority to anyone's house and take the child without the parents' consent. So, and take them to a COVID isolation facility where they won't be given contact, which is what's happened to Donna with Takara. They took her on Thursday, no evidence, they did no due diligence, they've just taken her daughter and they've withheld all contact. They won't even let her grandparents ring her to say, we love you and we know where you are. We don't know where she is, we don't know who she's with.
You don't know if she's okay.
Yeah, they've just taken her, and they told Donna she could have contact yesterday, and then a few hours later they rang her and cancelled that. And it's emotional torture. Like, it's just torture. And
There's hundreds of stories of that though.
Yeah.
Hundreds
And
we
that's
can give
what
you.
Donna and I have been doing, you know, in as well as raising awareness about the COVID fraud and learning law and working with the First Nations people, we've been supporting the other parents. So Powerful Parents Uniting. Mum Melissa Ord had her baby stolen from the Women's and Children's Hospital.
Yeah, see, they'll stop filming now.
Last August.
That's when they stop.
She had a baby stolen 2 hours after she was born. And it was traumatic. They don't offer help. They just take the children.
The stolen generation continues as they continue to abduct our offspring.
And they remove the original children at a rate of 6 to 1. So this ongoing genocidal occupation is real. Same with the prisons. The original people are 3% of the population and 90% in the male prison systems. It's full of the original men. And they're given much harsher sentences, you know, comparatively to the wider community for the same crimes.
Wow.
So they're really deliberately targeted. And the reason for that is because these globalist banksters from the UN that are all behind this COVID fraud know that the real sovereignty belongs to the original people, and so they want them eradicated so that they can secure their fraudulent claim to this sacred land. That's what they're working on.
Commonwealth has no jurisdiction here. They've never made treaty.